Hello students, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, we are going to study about the cloning vectors which we use for the cloning the genes in the recombinant DNA technologies. Now see, try to understand what are the vectors. Vectors are also known as gene taxi, or you can say they are working as an agent which carries your foreign gene into the host cell. They carry your targeted gene, or you can say the foreign gene. Into the bacteria. So the agent which can carry the gene into any other organ is that agents are known as vectors. We call them as gene taxi, we call them as they are clonings for desired genes, we can call them. So different types of vectors are there. We can use plasmid also as a vector. We can use bacteriophage as a vector. Cosmid, phagemid. So these are the few different types of the cloning vectors we can use. We can use for large segments, we can use bacterial artificial chromosomes. We can use yeast artificial chromosomes. And in case of we want to use for both prokaryotes and eukaryotes, then we can use shuttle vector also. So these are the different types of the vectors which we'll be using in the recombinant DNA technology. Now let us study one by one. So now we are going to start with the plasmid vector. Now see here, plasmids, they are also known as gene taxi. And they were discovered by Hayes and Lederberg, and it is found that they can be present in the prokaryotes, majority of the prokaryotes, and they can be present in few yeast cell also. I think so by this diagram you can see, you can check it and get an analyze. See, this is your bacterial DNA, okay, which we call it as genophore, incipient nucleus, and these, you can see here, these are your plasmids. So bacteria is having plasmid and bacteria is having chromosomal DNA. Both are able to replicate independent of each other, and one bacterial cell can have nearly 20 to 100 plasmids per cell. This much number can be possible. So we prefer to use plasmids. Now see, the yeast is also having a plasmid. You can see here the diagram that is known as 2,5 circle, which is nearly 6.3 kilobase pair. This is also an extra genetic material present in the yeast, and the number can again go to 50 to 100 copies. They can go this much copies per cell. Okay, and this is the C, you can see here ARS. ARS means autonomously replicating site. So this is the one plasmid which is present in the yeast, and this is the diagram which I have shown it above. This is the diagram of the bacterial plasmid. So I hope up till your concept is clear. Now see, if we are using the plasmid as a vector, why we prefer to use plasmid? First reason is this, they are very small in size. You can easily manipulate them in the laboratory. Then they carries large number of the restriction enzyme site. Means they are having many restriction enzyme site. So you are having a choice of using large number of the restriction enzymes. Then recombinant plasmid can replicate independently. Now what do you mean by the word recombinant plasmid? After taking the foreign gene, then the plasmid is now known as recombinant plasmid, or you can say recombinant DNA. So it can replicate independently once it is placed inside the host cell. That is the reason why we prefer to use a plasmid for our preparation of the recombinant DNA, means for gene cloning purpose. Now see one thing, according to your NCERT, this is a diagram given in your NCERT. This is your PVR 322. Why we call it as PVR 322? See, P stands for plasmid, B is a name of the scientist, that is Bolivar, R is Rodriguez. So these two scientists, Bolivar and Rodriguez, they have prepared this plasmid, and that is why we say PVR. And 322 number they have given it. See, this theory is given here. It is having 4362 base pair, and this is the first artificial cloning vector they have prepared. Now class, one thing, after my explanation all these things, I'll be providing a link down in the description box. You can download this PDF and then you can learn it thoroughly also. So what we are seeing in this diagram, see carefully, you are having this ORI site. You can see now this is the ORI site, means this is the site from where the origin of replication is going on. Now these are the two your marker genes. One is ampicillin resistance, one is tetracycline resistance. So you want these two antibiotic resistant gene which will work as a marker for you. And these are your restriction enzyme sites. It is having PST1, it is having PVU1 and ampicillin. These are your restriction enzyme site. BMH1 and SAL1, these are present in the tetracycline site. Okay, and this is your PVU2, which is present in the rope. What is ROP stands for? It is a replication of plasmids. So this is the first ideal plasmid which is prepared by the Bolivar and Rodriguez artificially, which is in which they are using one origin of replication site, because that is an essential feature for any plasmid to work as a vector or any DNA to work as a vector. Then it is having the two anti-markers, which are nothing, your antibiotic resistant genes, and these are the cloning sites. So I hope up till here diagram is clear. Now another vector is your bacteriophage. Even bacteriophage also can be used as a vector. Reason is, first of all, you should know what are bacteriophage. Now say bacteriophage. Bacteriophage are the virus which infects bacteria, and we are using lambda phage and we'll be using M13 phage. Lambda phage is actually linear DNA, and you have studied in the molecular basis also. It is actually made up of 48502 base pair. Okay, and it is double strand and linear, and it is having at the corner, if you see at the both the ends, it is having short sticky ends which are made up of 12 bases, and much of its genome is not responsible for lytic of the bacteria. So what we are doing it, we are removing that major part of its genome which is not necessary for lytic cycle, and we are putting our desired gene in that area, and as a result our desired gene has reached and many copies will be produced because the function of the bacteriophage is not affected. Means bacteriophage can go ahead with the lytic cycle. Another phage which we use is M13 phage, which is filamentous phage, and it is actually a single strand DNA which is having 6407 base pair. Now disadvantage of using this is this, its genome is less than 10 kb in size, so you can purify it and you can manipulate it just like a plasmid. That is the only advantage why we prefer to use M13 phage. Now question can be asked, if when plasmids are there and bacteriophage are there, then why should we use bacteriophage? Bacteriophage are more advantageous than plasmid. Reason is, bacteriophage vector can be used for large DNA fragments. They can be easily detected at the time of cloning experiment, and because they are having high copy number per cell within a bacteria, there we can get large number of copies in a short duration of time. This is the reason why we prefer to use bacteriophage. Now see, here the list is given. Your plasmid can carry the insert size only up to 0.5 to 8 kb kilobase. Okay, this is kilobase given. Bacteriophage lambda can carry up to 23 kilobase. Cosmid is what? We are making use of the cos site of the phage and we are making use of the plasmid. Plasmid with the cos site of the phage is known as cosmid, and it can help in the cloning of nearly up to 45 kb kilobase. This much it can help in the cloning. Then is your BSC and YSC. BSC means bacterial artificial chromosome. YSC means yeast artificial chromosomes. They can help in the cloning up to 1000 to 2500, means up to 1 mega base pair. They can help in the cloning. So see, this is the summary table which I prepared for all the plasmids or all the vectors which we are using it. For example, these are the additional one, cosmid vector, which is constructed by combining the plasmid and the cos side of the phage lambda. Okay, and it can do the cloning up to 45 kb in length. Then is your bacterial artificial chromosomes. This vector is based on natural nature, and it can do cloning up to 300 to 350 kb, and we have used it in the Human Genome Project also. YSC means yeast artificial chromosomes, And it contains telomeric sequence, centromere, and autonomously replicating sequence. It also contains, it can do cloning up to more than 1 mega base pairs. Then phagemids, it is a composite structure of bacteriophage and plasmid, which can do nearly the cloning of nearly 1.5 kilobase pairs. Then few animals and plant virus, they can also work as a vector. Okay, for example, if you know very well, the Agrobacterium tumefacium, that can work as a vector for sending gene into plants, which we'll be discussing in the next video. Okay, that topic I'll be discussing in the next video. Then transposons, they are the jumping genes. They can also work as a vector. Few are shuttle vectors, means they can be used even in prokaryotes as well as in eukaryotes. It means they are having two ori site. Two ori site, one is active in the prokaryote, one is active in case of eukaryotes. So I hope this concept will help you to understand what are the vectors. We are using it. Let us revise once again. We are using bacteria, plasmids, which are present in the bacteria. We are using bacteriophage, means virus. Then we are using combination. We say phagemid, we say cosmid. Okay. Then we are using bacterial artificial chromosome. We are using yeast artificial chromosomes. We can use transposons, which as a shuttle vector also we can use them. So these are the few list of the vectors which can help us in cloning of the genes. Now, what are the essential features which we want in our vector should possess? See, we want that our vector should have origin of replication. This is the first feature which we want in our vector. Vector should have ori site. Ori site is a site from where the origin of replication can start. That is the reason why we were not able to produce many copies of insulin gene isolation, because insulin gene by itself does not have ori site. But when it is linked to the plasmid, it is able to produce multiple copies of it because it was incorporated into the vector which was having ori site. So first important feature is that ori site should be there. This origin of replication site should be there. This is the site from which will support high copy number also. Then you want marker. In the previous diagram which I have shown you, which is given in your NCERT, the two antibiotic resistant gene, that is your ampicillin and tetracycline, they are working as selectable marker. They will help us to select whether the gene has been incorporated or not. Means the recombinant DNA is made or not. Now, where we should put our gene? When we are putting our gene, then we want that few areas, means palindromic areas, should be identified so that we can cut them. And these are the sites which will be cut by the restriction enzymes. So we call them as restriction sites, or you can say these are the sites where we will put our gene for cloning purpose. To make many copies of it, we call that site as cloning site also. Understood, class? So cloning site or restriction sites are nothing, your palindrome sites, and we try to look that they should produce sticky end so that we can insert our gene. And I think so sticky end, if you are having doubts with the sticky end, then please go and check the previous video of the restriction enzymes. That topic will be clear to you. Now, once if you know very well, if suppose you put a gene in ampicillin or tetracycline, then your gene will be inactivated. Let me show you how. Now see class, this is the plasmid. I've just drawn it simple way. Suppose this is my foreign gene which I'm representing by blue color. I'm putting in the tetracycline. At the BMH1 site, I'm putting it. The moment this plasmid has taken my foreign gene, this is my foreign gene, okay? If this plasmid has taken my foreign gene, then the plasmid, I will say it has become recombinant DNA. Recombinant DNA means plasmid plus foreign gene. This is my recombinant DNA. If it has taken, then we say it is recombinant DNA, but see here, if suppose this is plasmid and it is not taken my foreign gene. This is your ampicillin resistance and this is your tetracycline resistance. and this plasmid has not taken the foreign gene, then we say it is non-recombinant DNA. Now, if suppose, see here, so I think so up till your concept is clear. Recombinant DNA is having the foreign gene in tetracycline, but non-recombinant DNA is the one who has not taken the foreign gene. Now let us see here, this is your non-recombinant DNA, okay? And this is your recombinant DNA. So in ampicillin medium, I think so both are able to survive because ampicillin was not affected. But in tetracycline, your non-recombinant will be able to survive, but recombinant will not be able to survive. Is it clear? So from this we can get an idea. It's not, it will not be able to survive because they are nothing, they are DNA only, but just I'm trying to emphasize it, these are your marker genes are helping you to identify. And if you see carefully, because of the insert, your gene has become inactivated. We call this as insertion inactivation. Is it clear? So these are the features which we are looking in our vector. The vector should have ori site, they should have marker, and they should have cloning site. In the next video, we'll be studying the vectors which we are using for the plants and which we are using for the animals, like your Agrobacterium tumefaciens and your retrovirus, and how insertion inactivation is helping us in selecting the recombinant DNA. That procedure we'll be studying in the next video. Thanks for watching, class. And please mention in the comment box how did you liked it. And if you want any more help from me, then please mention in the comment box. And in the description, I'll be providing the link of this PDF which I've explained you. You can download it and you can learn it. Thanks for watching, class. Thanks.